Hi, I'm Flip Nicklin. Welcome to Humpback Chronicles. The humpback season in Hawaii is over and I missed it. Actually, I missed it a lot. I'm still in Alaska and getting ready for the season up here when the humpback whales are here and feeding. This is the time I'm usually working with pictures from the whale season in Hawaii. Not this year. This year I'm working on pictures taken over time. One of the things that people often notice is when we show pictures, the same picture may show up in more than one use. And often, and I should say usually, I'm not talking about the picture. The picture is related but not literally to the story that I'm telling. With that in mind, this year I'm going to try something a little different and take one picture a month and talk about the picture, where it came from, what it means, and some of the technical stuff. So it'll be about whales, but also maybe about photography and some of the technical aspects of photography. The first whale picture I ever took that people really wanted to look at was in 1979, working on an IMAX film called Nomads of the Deep, where my father was the main cameraman. And it's a picture of my father with a 300-pound IMAX film camera and a friendly humpback whale just cruising by. And that's the kind of pictures we were really getting at that point. We really weren't shooting behavior. It was more hoping to get close to a whale, a cow and a calf, or a friendly that came by, and the passing shots were taken just to show a nice picture of the whale. And then we would talk about the science, but we weren't shooting the science itself. But this was production stills for an IMAX film, so it was exactly the kind of picture I was trying to take. And I love the fact that it's my father with that big camera. And the joke was at the time that he got the job because his arms were long enough to reach the handles. It was a giant camera that you had to horse around, and you only had 3 minutes of film. This was a picture that would go on to be published more than 100 times around the world for all kinds of different reasons. Uh, it's a picture that I love because it started me with whale photography. This was a picture that was used as the promotional picture for a whale conference in Lahaina in 1979. Roger Payne was there, Sir Peter Scott was there, and this was a picture printed in the area that was out front when you walked in the door. And I said, it really was my first whale picture. As a side note, it was a great picture for me because the director of the film loved it and wanted a picture of him in the same position, and something that let me do pretty much what I wanted to do photographically for the time we were there, trying to get him in the picture, which I really never did. It was a picture taken with gear much different than what I use today. For one thing, we were using scuba, and sometimes that worked just fine, and whales would come and hang around. Almost all the work we do today is free diving, just because I think we can get closer to behavior without changing it by free diving. And the camera I was using was a little Nikonus, a small camera built for underwater, but it had a relatively new super wide lens, a 15 millimeter lens that gave you a wide angle that wasn't available just a few years before when my father had done his first work with whales in National Geographic. But that little Nikonus with a 15 was the workhorse probably for the first decade that I was shooting pictures of whales underwater. In 2015, my father authored a book about his experiences in the film industry, not just photographing whales, but shooting everything from feature films to documentaries about whales, and used the picture from 1979 as the cover picture. And the same picture was used at least twice already in Humpback Chronicles, once about Ohana, about the family and the support we get from Lahaina working with humpback whales, and most recently, the first interview with my father that was published just recently. It's a story that a picture goes with, and this is the picture. Thank you very much, and thanks again for all of your support.